Hey guys, a perfect match for the dark, chaotic mess we have to talk about today on General Hospital. We're breaking down a massive death on Spoon Island. Cassius snapping and Jocelyn Jax caught in a literal nightmare. Let's dive right into this absolute madness. So, let us just talk about Windermere for a second, because honestly I am so tired of this creepy castle, but it always delivers the most insane drama. Jocelyn Jax has been stuck on Spoon Island as a hostage for what feels like an absolute eternity now. And you guys know how much I have been ranting about Cassius running around Port Charles pretending to be Nathan West. It was weird from the start. It was creepy. But now it has escalated into something so dark and so twisted that I honestly had to rewatch the scenes just to process what the writers are actually doing here. Cassius has been holding Jocelyn there in the dark. And we all knew it was going to blow up in his face. Eventually, but I don't think any of us, and I mean literally none of us, saw anything like this. And then we have Jen Sidwell. Sidwell has been running his criminal empire from the shadows barking orders, threatening Willow Kane and basically acting like he owns every single person in Port Charles. But Sidwell finally lost his patience with the whole Jocelyn situation. He is a pragmatic guy. He doesn't like loose ends. And Jocelyn Jax is the definition of a massive screaming blonde loose end that is drawing way too much attention. So Sidwell makes his way to the main hall of Spoon Island. Just picture this scene. The dark wood, the creepy Cassadine portrait staring down at them, the shadows everywhere. Sidwell walks in there with that arrogant swagger he always has, and he just looks at Cassius and gives the order. He tells Cassius to eliminate Jocelyn just like that. Kill her and be done with it. Be a Dalmoy, silence the witness. Let's be real here for a second. What was Sidwell actually thinking? You do not just walk into a room with a man who has Phazon blood running through his veins and demand they execute their obsession. Have these people never read a history book on Port Charles? Have they never heard of Caesar Phazon and Anna Devane obsession runs in that family line like a toxic virus? But Sidwell doesn't care. He just sees Jocelyn as a problem that needs a bullet. He thinks Cassius is just a loyal dog who will follow orders. He thinks he can just snap his fingers, and Cassius will put a bullet in this young girl's head without a second thought. It is just so senseless and brutal. Sidwell doesn't care about the art of the game. He just wants the board cleared till he can get back to his business. But here is where it gets so incredibly messed up. Cassius has been developing this weird, creepy, intense obsession with Jocelyn over the last few weeks. It is not love. Don't even try to call it love because it is absolutely not. It is possession. He looks at her like she is a prize that he won. And when Sidwell gives the order to kill her, you can literally see the shift in Cassius's eyes. It was a brilliant acting moment, honestly. Cassius felt insulted. He felt deeply, personally insulted by the senseless brutality of Sidwell's demand. To Cassius, killing Jocelyn just to tie up a loose end is an insult to whatever sick, twisted bond he thinks they share in his delusional mind. He doesn't want to kill her, he wants to keep her forever. So the tension in that main hall is just suffocating. You have Jocelyn terrified, probably thinking this is it. This is the actual end of her life. She's looking at the gun. She is looking at Cassius. She is thinking about Carly, about Dex, about her whole life flashing before her eyes. And Cassius slowly raises his weapon. He points it. Sidwell is standing there, probably smirking, waiting for loud bang that would solve all his problems. The fans on social media were probably screaming at their screens at this exact moment. I know I was. I was sitting here with my cold coffee at 2:00 a.m. just thinking. They are not going to kill Jocelyn Jax. They just can't. Carly would literally burn the studio down. And then bam, the plot twist of the century. Instead of pulling the trigger on Jocelyn, Cassius suddenly spins around. He pivots on his heel with his terrifying grace, and he points the gun right at Jen Sidwell. And before Sidwell can even process what is happening, before he can even reach for his own weapon or shout a command or do anything, Cassius fires. He shoots Sidwell dead right therein. The main hall of Windermere. Just boom, dead. The big bad crime boss. The guy who has been terrifying Willow and running Jordan Ashford ragged on her undercover mission just drops to the floor like a sack of potatoes. I am still in shock. I am literally still trying to wrap my head around the fact that Jen Sidwell is dead. Just like that. We spent months building this guy up. He was the ultimate threat. He was the guy holding all the cards and pulling all the strings. And Cassius just ends him because he was insulted by an Order, it is so chaotic, but maybe I'm being too harsh on the writers here, because honestly it fits. It fits the face and unpredictable nature perfectly. You cannot control a madman, and Cassius is a madman. He proved it right there. He didn't shoot Sidwell out of some noble desire to be a hero or to save the day. He shot him because Sidwell tried to break his shiny new toy. Now, let's talk about Jocelyn. Oh my God, Jocelyn. Eden McCoy is going to need an Emmy for the aftermath of this scene alone. Jocelyn is standing there shaking, covered in the metaphorical and maybe literal splatter of this execution. She is Bang Huang, just completely stunned and horrified. She realizes in that split second that the man who has been keeping her up, the man who kidnapped her and terrified her family, just saved her life. He is her savior, but at the exact same time, he just murdered a crime boss in cold blood without even blinking an eye. He is a colder-blooded killer than she ever realized. How does a person even process that kind of trauma? You guys know Jocelyn. She is tough. She is Carly's daughter. She has seen mob violence her whole life, growing up with Sonny Corinthos in her living room. But this is different. This is intimate. This is a guy who is obsessed with her, who just proved he will kill anyone who tries to take her away or hurt her. That is not romantic. That is terrifying. It is the most terrifying thing in the world because now she knows there are no limits to what Cassius will do. If he can kill Jen, Sidwell without a second thought, he can kill anyone. He could kill Dante. He could kill Carly. He could kill anyone who tries to rescue her from him. And the ripple effects of this shooting are going to be absolutely massive across the entire show. Sidwell's death is going to throw his entire criminal organization into complete and utter chaos. You don't just cut the head off the snake and expect the body to politely crawl away and hide. Sidwell had loyalists. He had goons. He had a whole network of bad people who are now going to be out for blood. They are going to want revenge for their boss. And who is at the top of their hit list? Cassius. And wait, what does this mean for Jordan Ashford? Think about this for a second because it is huge. Jordan has been running this incredibly dangerous, self-assigned undercover mission as Sidwell's right-hand woman. Jordan Turner was just begging her to come back to the PCPD like 2 episodes ago. Now her boss is dead. The whole syndicate is going to fracture into a million pieces. Jordan is going to be caught right in the middle of a massive gang war. Or she might be the one who has to step up and try to dismantle it from the inside while they are weak and fighting each other. This is a huge, huge development for Jordan's storyline, and I am so here for it. But back to Cassius. Cassius is now the most wanted man in Port Charles. He's facing the wrath of Sidwell's remaining loyalists who will stop at nothing to hunt him down and put him in the ground. But he's also facing the absolute fury of the PCPD. Dante Falconry is already out for his blood. Dante just found out that Cassius helped Lulu cover up the fact that Rocco shot Ross Colum. Dante was already furious, lashing out at Lulu and vowing to take Cassius down for betraying him. Now Cassius has added first-degree murder to his rap sheet. Are going to be swarming Spoon Island like angry bees. So what does Cassius do now? He can't stay at Windermere. The island is going to be surrounded by cops and mobsters. He has to run, but he is not going to run alone. There is no way in hell he is leaving Jocelyn behind. His obsession won't allow it. He just killed the man to keep her. He's not going to just let her walk free. So now we are looking at a hostage-on-the-run situation. Cassius dragging a traumatized Jocelyn through the secret tunnels of Windermere out into the woods. Trying to evade the cops and the mobsters. It is going to be like a horror movie. And I am honestly terrified for her. And can we please just take a moment to imagine Carly's reaction to all of this? Carly is already panicking at home. She knows Jocelyn is missing. She was blaming Jack Brennan, thinking he used his WSB connections to send Jocelyn away as payback. But when she finds out that Jocelyn was actually held hostage by a fake Nathan West, and that this fake Nathan West just murdered Jen Sidwell and is now dragging her daughter on the run, Carly is going to lose her absolute mind. She's going to go full mob boss mode. She will probably team up with Jason, with Sonny, with Valentine, with literally anyone who can hold a gun to hunt this guy down. You know who might actually be relieved by this whole mess? Willow Kane. I know that sounds awful, but let's be real. Sidwell just summoned Willow and gave her a chilling ultimatum. He told her that Drew had to stay paralyzed or end up dead. He was threatening her entire existence and holding her crimes over her head. And now Sidwell is dead. The guy holding the strings is gone. Does this mean Willow is off the hook? Or does it mean that someone even worse is going to take over Sidwell's operation and come looking for her? Knowing General Hospital, Willow's problems are far from over. But at least the immediate threat of Jen Sidwell is neutralized. Honestly, I have to give the writers some credit here. I complain a lot. You guys know I do. I sit here and I type these long rants about how the packing is too slow or the storylines don't make sense or they drag things out. Forever, but this was a massive payoff. The tension has been building and building on Spoon Island, and they actually pulled the trigger, literally. They didn't drag it out for another 6 months of Jocelyn sitting in a room crying. They gave us a shocking, bloody, game-changing moment right in the middle of May's sweeps. It is messy, it is chaotic, but it is undeniably entertaining television. It also completely redefines Cassius as a character. For a while, he was just playing this weird game of dress-up, pretending to be a dead cop to mess with Maxie and everyone else. It was creepy, sure, but it felt a bit cartoonish at times, like a bad Halloween costume. But now he is a legitimate, terrifying threat. He's a killer driven by pure obsession. He's unpredictable. He is not motivated by money or power like Sidwell was. He is motivated by his own twisted psychology and his need to possess Jocelyn. And those are the most dangerous villains of all. You can't negotiate with someone who doesn't care about the rules. And what about Britt Westbourne? She was already worried about Cassius going too far. She is sitting in her room over Bobby's feeling defeated, telling Lucas she just wants to disappear and let her Huntington's disease take over. How is she going to react when she finds out her half-brother, or whatever twisted family connection they share, just murdered a crime boss and went on the run with the hostage? It is just more tragedy piled onto Britt's plate when she is already at her absolute lowest point. So where do we go from here? The whole canvas is shaken up. Spoon Island is a bloody crime scene. A mob boss is dead on the floor. A young girl is trapped with a psychopathic savior who won't let her go. The police are on a massive manhunt. The criminal underworld is bleeding out and looking for revenge. It is going to be a wild ride for the next few weeks. I am exhausted just thinking about it. But you better believe I will be glued to my screen every single day. Let me